Well, guys, we are seeing landlords starting to sell their investment properties. We want to talk about what does that mean to you guys if you're a tenant? What does it mean to you if you're a landlord? Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Yes, I have to say RBA's announcement on Tuesday, I don't think it came as a surprise to people. I think everyone's almost, getting used to this new weird normal of interest rates going up. But, oh, that's nice, Mark. Mark's playing around here in the background. He's putting lights on. I said to him I got puffy eyes, but I also didn't put much makeup on this morning.
It's beautiful, Lise.
Oh, thanks, Mark. And the light shining right in my eyes. It's perfect. It's great. I should be blind by the end of the segment.
You try to do something right in
but I
marriage.
literally can't
You
see.
try to, but the puffy eyes have gone. Watch. You want it back?
Do I want to be blind by the end of the segment, or do I want to have puffy eyes? You got to be careful what you say to girls, Mark. You got to be careful. So literally with the Reserve Bank's announcement on Tuesday of the 0.25% interest rate rise, I have to say I had 3 calls by that afternoon. I had 3 calls that afternoon from investors that were saying, look, that's kind of us out. We are going to be selling our investment property. We want to talk this morning, though. What does it mean for you guys if you are renting? And also, I just want to touch on a topic that I actually did a little interview on the other day about selling a property if there is a tenancy in place. So we're talking about the facts, guys, and I do want to point out here, we're not suggesting that you should sell your property. We're giving you the information so that you can make those educated decisions. What do you reckon, Mark?
Quite the contrary. I like when everyone
Morning, Michelle.
zigs, I like to zag. So I think it's more giving the advice of, look, if people are running zigging, guys, let's start zagging. People are selling investments, time to buy investments. If you didn't get what I was saying.
Yeah. So let's talk about what happens when the investors start to sell. Because we run a decent sized rent roll. We run about 1,600 managements within our business. We've got 50 staff, actually. We need to talk about that on another segment as well, Mark, because a lot of people think that it's just the staff that they see on our social media, but there's actually 50 of us. We've got a big
it's an operation,
a big portfolio of staff, and we also run a lot of management. So we get a good view as to what's going on in that rental world as well.
We're doing commercial, we're doing residentials. We've got a really good cross section of different styles of properties.
Yeah.
It is alarming the amount of people that are selling properties. It is alarming the amount of people that are selling properties. It is alarming.
Investors you're talking about.
Yeah, particularly investors.
Yeah.
It is alarming. Like, the stock is low, so there's not a lot of people selling, but the profile of the people, when you look at the people that are selling, a lot of them are investors. Now, what does that mean to a tenant? There's less rental properties out there for tenants. It's certainly not trending for landlords to come into the market. If anything, finance, which you were discovering yesterday, seems to be a real catalyst and a real key to the purchasing of property. So new investors are going to be landlords. Find it very hard to secure money. So much so that they are in a lot of these landlords are in mortgage prison.
It's tricky.
Do you want to explain the mortgage prison?
No.
Do you know what mortgage prison is?
No. I don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes Mark talks in words that no one really understands.
You don't know what mortgage prison is?
No.
We've done a morning minutes on mortgage
I know. I'd like to say I watch all of them. I try to do my best.
Okay, so say we've got 1,500 landlords.
Yeah.
I would suggest that.
I'm gauging what it probably does mean.
Do you want to have a guess?
It means.
You sure you want to have a guess?
Well, it means that they're stuck because they have got a loan, but the rents are locked. And, they've got this shortfall that they somehow need to make up.
Close.
Yeah.
So these landlords are not eligible to be landlords, full stop, in the bank's eyes. So if you don't poke the bear, if you don't talk to your bank, you just have your loan and you just pay it off. If you leave your bank and want to go to another bank, they will not give you the loan. So that is mortgage prison.
Yeah.
So I would suggest probably as much as half of our landlords, maybe even 2/3, would be in that situation that if they went elsewhere to get a better loan, the banks would say, look, we're not going to refinance you.
Yeah.
That's mortgage prison. That's actually the reality. Is actually the what it does to a landlord's mind is much more different to the reality of it. So they may be happily paying off the loan, but when you think, geez, the banks don't want to give me the money, that's a real daunting, isolating feeling for a landlord. So much so as they go, you know what, I'm just going to sell and I'm just going to go a bit easier and I'm going to take it easy.
And that's what we're hearing. Like, and also understand as real estate agents, people aren't calling up going, I'm broke, I'm in debt, I can't afford it anymore with these interest rate rises and I'm selling. That's not normally how they're coming to us. They're coming to us in other ways. Oh, we've just got better things that we can do with our money.
Yeah.
So, but as I said, the announcement, the last interest rate announcement, within a matter of hours, I had 3 investors calling saying we're selling. And you know, what does that mean? I think the buyers have been waiting for this big dump of stock as well. The indications are, guys, that it's still not coming. Because yesterday I don't
think it's going to come, Lise.
I don't think it's going to come either.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, you watch."
No. I don't think
freezing.
I don't think it's going to come either. And I actually think this is my prediction, guys. My opinion. I think the spring selling season, which ordinarily is a very busy time for real estate, I think it's going to continue to be quiet because people don't know where to go. They know getting money is hard, and the people that are selling, they don't know where they're selling to go to because stock levels are so low and getting money is so hard.
When they call this the lucky country, that means there's layers. That means that they think people, the majority of the population, are fortunate. When there's layers, there's things that people have got that they can sell to pay their mortgage. They can get rid of things to pay their mortgage. People at the moment, some people have 4 or 5 TV subscriptions. They can get rid of all of them to pay their mortgage. That is a lucky country. I think there's some countries in the world where people live quite skint, quite lean. They have their mortgage. Once they can't pay their mortgage, there's no layers that they can get rid of.
Yeah.
So I think it's really, really important that we are a lucky country. Touch wood, thank God, very thankful. And I think what people are doing is they're getting rid of those layers of debts that they don't need before it gets to the mortgage. So there's there's a bit of fat there.
But the investors selling out for tenants, real estate always has worked on supply and demand. So if we have more demand than we do supply, this is where it starts to affect the price.
Spot on.
And so with properties that are on the market for sale, and that's what's going on at the moment, guys, we have an over supply with respect to buyers, and we have an undersupply with respect to properties. And so it's pushing up these property prices. Buyers are needing to pay more to secure the property. The same thing will happen to rents, is happening to rents. When the investors sell out and there's not a lot of developing going on, which there's not here in Sydney, there's not a huge amount of developing going on. It's too hard for the developers as well. What happens? The supply of rentals and the huge demand of tenants pushes those rental prices up.
Do you notice my head just got smaller?
So I think you're going to find. Are you right, Mark?
It's a seat.
He wants to just play around
just
today.
Better. That pool that you're talking about, Lise, there is critical. That pool is driving the rental market.
Yeah.
That pool is actually in an adverse time when prices should be going down, when interest rates are going up. It's actually pushing prices not just level but up. So that whole scarcity of stock, be it rental stock, be it sales stock, that's preserving, that's insulating, galvanizing our property market for rentals and for sales. So a lot of people are trying to work it out and going like, I don't get it. I don't understand why rents are going up in this environment. I don't understand why. It's the whole scarcity thing.
There is. There's nothing around. And just beware, guys. Beware. Yesterday I did a really, really good podcast with Shore Financial. These guys are great mortgage brokers, phenomenal business. Some of the best mortgage brokers in the country. And I did an interview yesterday with Theo from Shore Financial. He owns Shore Financial. And it was interesting because I don't think two industries have ever been so aligned in real estate, where it's so important that we really understand what is going on with the banks, to really understand what's going on with real estate, because it is a cut snake at the moment, the real estate market. And even, us, we're transacting a lot of stock on the Northern Beaches. It's tricky for us to read. We're going, okay, so the interest rates went up again. Are the buyers still going to turn up for the open homes? And they just keep coming in thick and fast. The market's kind of doing the polar opposite to what everyone anticipated it would do. But interestingly enough, Theo from Shore Financial was saying yesterday that there is a lot of savings around. So, there are people there that have got lots of, don't get me wrong, we're well aware that there's people that don't have a lot of savings, but there is a lot of money in the bank still.
Still a lucky country.
Yeah, there is a lot of money in the bank. And, you are hearing about these enormous cash purchases. I know you guys spoke about it a little bit earlier in the week, 45 million, 60 million cash. It's just absurd.
Do you know what? I can't help to think that when the interest rates go up, it's an attack on property prices. It's just my automatic response. I think it's being a real estate agent, of course it is, but I think it's people's natural response as well. They think that they're going to get an erosion on property price. They think the value of the property is going to go down. They think there's going to be the big sellout where people are suffering.
It's not going to happen, guys. I don't believe it's going to happen.
I don't know if it's going to happen, Lise, because look, we've got 2 years now of proof, of social proof of what it has interest rate rises have done. And this morning we're talking about the great landlord sellout. That's just adding further to scarcity out there for tenants.
I think it's going to get a bit harder for tenants, and I think it's going to get harder for buyers. That's what I think.
And I think it's proving that landlords are finding it very hard to get money to refinance debt, or landlords are finding it hard to get money to be a landlord. Now, if it's hard to get money to be a landlord, you're not going to buy an investment property. So I put it out there that the government should be incentivizing investors to get into the property market.
I agree.
To make it, to put, but there's this whole thing about greedy landlords. We don't want to feed the greedy landlords or make it easy.
But we have a housing shortage.
But these guys are supplying homes.
They're supplying housing.
With their money.
Yeah.
They're investing $500,000 or $1 million to buy a home to ask a tenant to occupy.
Yeah, but that helps everyone.
If
the government helps, and there's no doubt, please, guys, don't get us wrong. We're just mulling things over here. We're seeing that investors are starting to sell out. If that happens, that's not good news for tenants. What would the solution be? The solution would be help to incentivize the landlords, which would then help the tenants. But I can't help but think what Harry Triguboff said in his interview a couple of weeks ago. Very, very smart man. He said the only way to overcome this issue is to continue to build vertically. So why is the government making it so hard for these developers? Why are they making it so hard to build these big, tall buildings? You look what's going on up on the Gold Coast, Mark.
What you got to understand is when Harry Triguboff builds 500 units, all everyone sees is money going into his pocket. That's all they see.
Yeah.
They go, great, making a rich guy richer. But the flow-on effect, there's 500 people that buy into that building. There's 500 people that will sell, maybe 300 people that will sell their house that they're downsizing into that unit too. They will sell their unit. That may be, so there's other properties that are being freed up in the marketplace. There's potentially another 300 to 500 other properties, assuming they're selling to buy, that people are freeing up in that local area. So we saw it in DY. The units were $1 million for a 3-bedroom. This was 5 years ago. We saw everyone that moved into Meriton DY that was buying a 3-bedroom sold a house. So all these houses came on in the area. So literally within that couple of months of settlement, a lot of properties came up for sale, a lot of houses came up. So there's a cross flow effect when these greedy, and I don't think they are greedy, developers build these units. There's a cross flow in that whole community. There's shopping centres, there's jobs, there's jobs for workers, there's accounting, there's soliciting, there's taxing, there's landlords, there's tenants.
But then you look at this empty office space in the CBD. We were talking about it this morning while we were having a walk. There's so much empty office space in the city. Companies just don't want to come back. They're going, well, we could work from home. We pivoted and we've got this new model now.
Companies want to come back.
Oh, the companies do that. Sorry, I think the employees are quite enjoying having the option to work from home still. But why can't they look to convert this? There is so much empty space in the city. Why can't they look to convert that into some sort of housing? Because there's no doubt there's a housing crisis. My concern is it going to get worse before it gets better? I kind of feel like it might. And so we need to start to look at some of those solutions. But investors selling their investment properties and getting out of the market is definitely not going to help. It's just not going to help.
Look, statistically,
Mark just so happens to have a graph. Show the graph. Go on. He literally just pulled it up out of nowhere.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's there. I can see it. Australian house prices.
Statistically, in America, they have had the highest vacancy of offices in 20 years. Now, in 20 years, there's been recessions, financial global crisis, credit squeeze, the dot-com bubble. After all of that, this is worse. And that's as a result of COVID. So there are some good opportunities for office space. A-grade office space, renting no problems. B, C, and D-grade office space is really struggling.
Yeah. And then just circling back to the interview that I did yesterday with the guys at Shaw Financial, with Theo particularly, he was suggesting, and again, we're not going to hold him to this, that there could be 1, maybe 2 more interest rate rises. They just can't seem to get those inflation numbers under control. But one of the biggest takeaways that I got from him was that if you have got your pre-approvals, watch the interview, guys. It's on my social channels. We'll get it out onto Novak as well. If you have got your pre-approvals, you do need to go and spend them, because what's going on is if you let them lapse, and he reckons they're good for about 90 days, most of them. If you let them lapse, the bank will reassess you at a lower level because of the interest rate rises. Really important information. We are seeing buyers fall short so many times because of this. Their pre-approval expired. They didn't use it. They were waiting for the market to come down. They were waiting for more stock to hit. The pre-approval expired. They went back to the bank and the bank said, now you can't get 1.5 million. We're only going to give you 1.2 million.
And that can be the difference between I can live there or I can't live there.
Or I was going to get a little house, not on the Northern Beaches, you wouldn't for that, but hypothetically speaking, we were going to get a house. Now we can only afford an apartment. And some people have sold already. So they sold an apartment to go buy a house. We see it happen all the time at the moment. They sell an apartment to go and upgrade to a house, let's say. And, they've got their finances in place, their pre-approvals. They don't realise if they lapse that they can't go out and buy something. And now they're realising that they can't actually afford to go buy the house. So just watch those pre-approvals. As I said, there's a quick little interview that I did with Theo. It's on my social media channels. Really good advice. Really easy to understand advice.
Anything else?
What's Luke got to say? Inflation data is 3 to 6 months behind. Yeah, so interesting that you say that, Luke, because this week also I did an interview with Matt Giggs. He's an agent from the UK, top guy, top agent. And it was funny, he raised in the interview, goes, oh, you guys are about 3 months behind us. And I was like, behind you? What do you mean? In what way? Because I thought our market was ahead of them. And he goes, no, in terms of the economy, you guys are behind us, which is kind of good in a way because we learn from other people's mistakes. But he said their interest rates have already started coming off quite dramatically. So he said 3 months ago, we were in a similar situation to you guys. The interest rates were going up. They were going up. And he said now they've started dropping quite dramatically. So that was quite interesting to hear.
Interesting, the POMs. The
Yep.
POMs.
Love
I think Michelle wants to see one of my graphs.
Go, Mark.
Oh.
It's music to Mark's ears, Michelle.
Yeah. Look at that. You know what I find interesting? Do you know what this graph is, Elise?
It's the house value change inflation.
Yeah.
See?
And
gotta love a girl who can read a graph.
1973 oil crisis, 74 Australian recession,
yep.
82 Australian recession, 91 Australian recession, 2000 dot-com bubble, 2012 mining boom, 2008 global financial crisis, 19 credit squeeze, 2020 they reckon recession in this graph. But my point is, there's just always something.
There's always something.
Seriously, I know we get our knickers in a knot about the whole thing. There's just
I remember.
There's always something. There is just always something going on.
I remember during the GFC, I remember that first home buyer market going absolutely bananas. We were talking about it yesterday. The government had put in place first home buyer schemes, and they were really good. It was this great incentive. If you ticked all these boxes, you could get 15,000 or 14,000, whatever it was, and literally you would run with that money and you would go and that would help you to buy a property if you were a first home buyer. We could not list that stock fast enough during a global financial crisis.
Yep.
There needs to be some incentives put into place here. There just has to be. You know, as we said, if the investors are selling out, what does that mean for the tenants? What does it mean, guys? If they're not building anymore and the investors are selling out and there's less rental stock for you if you're a tenant, well, what do you reckon is going to happen?
That's it. That's it. So that's the show, Lisa. Thank you for joining.
Oh,
that was beautiful.
This morning.
Beautiful.
We're married, guys.
Beautiful. No, I kiss everyone who comes on. Everyone comes on the show just to say thank you.
Be careful, Billy.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming on to the show today and being part of it.
It's a pleasure.
Taking over.
So you talked.
What are you doing today, Lisa?
You talked a lot today.
Yeah, I talked a lot. What are you doing today?
You talked a lot. So Fridays are ordinarily my day off. Not that we don't have days off in real estate. I've already responded to about 50 emails this morning. But what am I going to do today? I'm going to go and get my nails done. And then I've got quite a lot of stock coming on, actually. So I've got to just head down, bum up and get that all sorted. But I think I signed 4 listings in the last 24 hours.
Landlords?
Yes. Yeah. Someone's
talking to us.
I don't know. You have another woman in the car.
I
think her name's Siri.
Have a great day. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. And it's a long weekend.
Wait. Can I just quickly talk, guys, just before we go?
Weekend.
And it's a long show too. It is a long weekend. The King's birthday. I just want to quickly talk about the mentoring opportunity. It's been all over my social media. I have been asked a lot, particularly since AREC, the Australian Real Estate Conference, if I would do mentoring. And what I've decided to do, because I don't have enough hours in my day, is I have decided that I'm going to do a mentoring day with me. People will get to walk in my shoes from very early in the morning until late at night.
What an opportunity. What a great idea.
It's going to be on a Friday, heads up, and there's going to be 4 spots available.
It was my idea.
It was your idea. So I've already had about 30 people register. If you would like to register, guys, just shoot me a message on any of my social media platforms and I'll tell you what you need to do to register. We're going to be auctioning off 4 of them and there will be no reserve price.
How fun.
It'll be heaps of fun. We're going to do lots of social media,
lots
of video.
We're going to invest in this day.
It's going to be great.
Lots of time.
We're going to start off with a walk.
Of fun. Lots of experience. It'll be something money can't buy. Incredible stuff.
Yep, it really will be fun. Yeah. And starting with a walk, Brecky.
Even I'll be joining.
Mark's going to join. My team's going to join. We're going to do heaps of social media as well, lots of video content, and just really have fun. And literally, you know, if I've got calls to make or, you know, appraisals to do, whatever it is, you guys are all going to come along. So 4 spots only. We are going to auction them off. All the details are on my social media. I did a little video on it.
Boom. See ya.
Bye.